joke, chicky choke, no joke. You already know. Truth be told, all day, every day, we just doing it in a different way. Alright? Right here I'm chilling with my man, Kelvin Hunter. What is it, Kevin or Kelvin?
Legally, it's Kelvin. People call me Kev. I've adapted to Kelvin in my new journey and embraced it. I used to not like it, but that's part of me. My mama gave me that name, so I'm running with it.
Now, you know it was some female, say your sister, that came out and I don't know, she's on YouTube or internet somewhere. She don't know where Kelvin came from. Your real name is Kelvin.
Well, bless my sister. She's going through a lot. And, I've done a lot to try to, help her. And to no avail, she's still, facing demons, like a lot of people. And I guess she forgot, you know what I'm saying? It's on my birth certificate.
Right.
So it's Kelvin. I picked Kevin because I prefer Kevin.
Right.
I didn't like the L, but I've embraced the L as I've gotten older.
Gotcha. All right, now, where's your start at? And before the entertainment, where's your start, from elementary, junior high school, college? Like, where you from originally? And just give me a quick brief, your childhood up to 21.
Okay. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, Riverdale Projects. I was born in Brookdale Hospital. Shout out to all the Brooklyn, Brownsville, enterprising folk. It's a different kind of struggle. Anyway, I attended PS 327. I went to Head Start, kind of excelled. It's a little foggy. The public school that was in that area was PS 41, but for some reason my mom's took me to 327. I was like gifted and talented for the 3rd grade and the 4th grade. I didn't take it to 5th grade, can't tell you why. I was in my mischievous ways. So I went to 327, that's more like Ocean Hill, Brownsville, up the hill, people know. Went to IS 271, did a little stint at Thomas Jefferson High in East New York. Then my mom's moved us to Long Island, where I attended Malvern High School. Shout out to the Malvern Mules.
What part of Long Island is that?
Malvern, New York. I lived in Rockville Center, Lakeview area, you know what I mean? But I dropped out in 10th grade. Me and my mom's wasn't really seeing eye to eye. Bless her heart, she's a particular person as well. I love my whole family, but people know how family do. Yeah. And without getting into too much intimate detail, I had to, she used to always challenge me and say, well, if you don't like what I say, then you need to go find your own. I've always been ambitious. The situation that I was at home with a stepfather, I really wasn't feeling. So I used to try to find ways to stack bread and, do odd jobs. Before I left Malvern, at 14 years old in 9th grade, I stole a bunch of working cards. Like you had to go to guidance council, whatever. And they have the working cards to give you a permit to work like in the fast food restaurants, whatever, but that's for like 16-year-olds.
Right.
So I was always big for my age. I needed to find ways to make money. My mother, who hustled, I got a lot of my hustle from her. Used to do hair out the projects in the apartment. Eventually got her own shop. She almost hustled to a fault, but I got a lot of my ambition from her. So my goal was to steal the working cards so I can work. I need money.
Wait, where's your dad in all this?
My dad didn't exist, even though I had the name of my stepdad. He didn't exist. I found out about him later in life. Okay, so.
You have a relationship with him now?
No, I do not. So I had to pretty much find my own way. I started working in various fast food restaurants with my working cars at 14. I ain't mind. I used to love McDonald's. I think my first one was, I went from McDonald's to Roy Rogers to Nathan's. Like I was all, I mean, look, I went through the gamut.
I worked at McDonald's too.
Yo, listen, I worked at McDonald's and I started inventing my own little sandwiches, like chicken nuggets. That's when they had the steamer, where you make the fillet of fish, and you just have to put it in the steamer. So I used to take 4 chicken nuggets, put it on that bun, put the cheese on it, steam it, cheese all melty. That was my lunch. All the people in the place, oh, damn, that looks good. I'm almost thinking that they made that a special one week because it was so good. So I had a lot of jobs. But when I dropped out in 10th grade, because of my home situation, I wound up hustling, and I also had another job at Macy's out in Long Island. Don't ask me why. I think around that time when I was on my own, I was like, between 15 and 16, I went on my own. Let me rewind, because I don't want to, I know you said be brief, but when I left my mom's house, the day I left her house after saving enough bread and getting me a room, which was the top of a house that 2 people owned. It was an actual house, but they gave me the whole top of the house. I came home and told my moms, I'm leaving. She was like, sad. Like after all the time she said, get out, not get out, but if you're too grown, you don't want to go by my rules. When I finally was like, all right, I'm out, I felt a sense of sadness, but I was determined. At the time I moved, after going through a whole bunch of almost homelessness with the turmoil with my home, with my mom's. I couldn't focus on school. I got a job at Macy's working in receiving. At the time, I think I had a 27-year-old girlfriend. I'm 17. I'm renting the top of the house, and the people were cool at first, but then they start treating me like that, like I was their son, because they seen how young I was. I'm like, nah, I'm paying you. You know what I'm saying? So there starts my journey of independence. And I went to Job Corps, succeeded, plastering, drywall, got my GED there. If I knew I could get my GED without going to high school, I would have got it in 9th grade and said, hey, world, here I come. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to go through, in Long Island, it was difficult because, there were white kids, there were black kids. It was like, it was a racial divide at the time. Not like like California and how LA, how crazy it gets out there, but it was like a racial divide. And coming from Brownsville, Brooklyn, where it's primarily black and Hispanic, seeing all these different like cultures, learning about the rock culture. I'm all hip hop. I'm seeing kids coming to school with Iron Maiden, vest shirts on, and they were about their thing, and you could just feel the tension brewing. Right. So I want to say there might have been a situation or two where we almost got into it, but I was pulled out of it through the grace of God before it could really damage any of my future. When I started, when I started working at Macy's and before I went to Job Corps, I learned how to earn money. I learned how to, at 17, work hard. I was working with men that were like 7 years, 8 years my senior. So it put me in an environment. I was always, a big guy for my age, so I always learned a lot from old dudes, OGs. After Job Corps, I lived in the I lived in the Buffalo, Niagara. Hold up, pause a second. I need some water for a second. Let me get